Kids, welcome. We're not at Tech today. We're at Meg's Bread, and you'll never guess what they sell here. Bread.
Lend us bread.
Oh, yes.
It's so
How
filling.
perfect. How
I've eaten
perfect.
4 of them.
We're continuing the Big Summer Read, and the Two Towers, we've just finished it, and I favored Fellowship over this, but you, before, were kind of like, not so fast, my friend.
Well, I enjoy all the wargs attacking the train as they go to Helm's Deep, all the elves coming to rescue at Helm's Deep, Wormtongue attacking Saw. Wait a minute. None of those things happened in this book. None of those things happened.
Yeah.
I do appreciate this book. This was such a faster read. Boy, this was such a faster read.
Do you
for
think
me.
so? It was slower for me.
And when you were talking about it being dialogue heavy,
Yeah.
I was already like into the start of it, and I was like, yeah, and I kind of feel like I'm just like flipping the pages. I feel like I'm hurrying through. And then there were scenes, I don't want to spoil anything, but like the Battle of Helm's Deep, I was like, that's it? Like, we're already done? Like, we're there? And now it's over?
Done.
And when we're moving? I just felt like it was boom, 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 boom. And then the book is done. Also, it surprised me how much more progress we made in some ways than the movie does. Because the movie cuts it short from one part. But here in the book, we already get to see an awful, awful, terrible thing by the very end. And then we're moving up to a different kind of tower. So, I don't know. I mean, there were parts to it that I was like, I enjoyed it. But at the same time, I felt like it was a little bit unfulfilling in the way that the movie really developed some parts that weren't in the book.
One thing that really stands out if you've never read the books and you've watched the movies and then you go and read the books is that Boromir's death is actually in the second book, which I feel like it fits so much better with that first part. Why do you think that? I mean, because it's famous how Tolkien wanted to do this as one book, and the publishers were kind of like, no, we're doing three parts here. I just wonder why that specific point was chosen, because it just seems like that goes with, do you know what I'm saying?
I wonder if he already had this like put together and then was told, no, we're going to split it up into 3 books. And at that point, he's like, okay, well, just cut here and here. But then you've already got this big narrative constructed, and it was meant to be read continuously. Maybe he didn't go back and clean up some stuff of like, well, structurally, Boromir's death should be at the end of this first book. I wrote that down as one of my first things, that it's interesting that Tolkien denies us Boromir's last stand. We hear about it, just like you hear about some characters in Shakespeare dying off stage, but we don't get to see it. And in Peter Jackson's movie, it's a huge moment. That here's Boromir, who was tempted by the ring. Dude, you screwed up big time. But that's Boromir's chance at redemption of defending the hobbits. Get out, I will take the arrows. Tolkien doesn't give us that. Like, we get Boromir's last words, but we don't get to see the actual battle of him trying to redeem himself in a way.
Tolkien focuses more on like Boromir's death and I guess funeral, if you want to call it that. Because even when we meet Faramir, we have that where Faramir's like, my brother came through and I couldn't figure out if I was dreaming or not, which is in the movie in the extended cut. If you don't,
which is the biblical one.
If you don't see the extended cut, you have no clue that that's happened. But that seems to be more of the focus, because he's so detailed in how they put him in the elf boat, how they put the cloven horn of Gondor and the swords and the weapons of the orcs around him, and how they send him down over the waterfall. So it just seems like it's more focused on that.
I hate it because structurally to the movie, you get the background of the War of the Last Alliance with men and elves against Sauron, and here's why the ring is a big deal. If you've never read the books or seen the movie or whatever, you can start off with that background narrative. Here's Isildur, he fell, now we'll pick back up. Well, that matters very much because Isildur had the chance to end the ring. 3,000 years ago, this could have all been solved. We could have ended evil right then. But Isildur was corrupted. And the movie shows Isildur running, dodging into a river, the ring slipping from his finger, and then he is revealed and shot in the back by goblins. So he takes arrows to the back, floats away down the river. By the end of the Fellowship movie, Boromir is a human who is succumbing to the influence of the ring, and he gets a different... He's not the heir of Isildur, but in a way you're like, I ought to be the ruler of Gondor. But he gets a chance at redeeming himself by taking those arrows on the front, not in the back, not running away from battle, not trying to scrabble away like Gollum with your precious. He takes them to the front. And later gets laid in a boat and sent down the river. It felt very book-ended of, we're telling a story here.
Yeah.
I don't get that in this. I hear about this, but I mean, I don't get to see that.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's a chance where sometimes screenwriters have a chance to enhance a text, or I don't want to say fix what Tolkien did wrong. I don't think he did anything wrong. I'm not saying that. But they get a chance to enhance a story and be like, you notice this parallel? I see it too.
Yeah.
And tell that kind of story.
It does. I mean, you and I talked about that, how almost the ego you have to have as a screenwriter when you're adapting a book, especially like this, to say, I can do this better than Tolkien. But honestly, I did like how Boromir's death was included. It just seems like that whole thing fit together.
Right.
You know?
I mean, why drag it out into the next book or movie when Boromir's done by the end of Fellowship?
Right.
This is done. The Fellowship is broken. Boromir's done. We're already moving on.
The Fellowship is broken up, and we can kind of have like a good ending there because Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli are still kind of trying to figure out, are we going to go to Minas Tirith still, or are we going to go try to save our friends? Yeah. And so they've determined, well, we're going to follow the Merry and Pippin and try to save them. So what did you think about the chase to get the orcs?
What about it?
Well, I mean...
So in the movie, it felt a little bit more streamlined.
Yeah.
Because we're back and forth with Aragorn. It's like we're getting to hear this from Merry and Pip's side. We're also getting to hear it from Aragorn's side. But in the book, I felt like, I already heard about that. Yeah, we already know the hobbits went this way or whatever. It felt like in the movie it was a little bit more cleaned up. Gimli's running out of air right now because dwarves are very fast over short distances. In the book, he wants to sleep by night, and it's like, I don't know, we're going to fall behind if we do, yada, yada. It just felt a little bit more streamlined in the movie of it. But I also felt that way through a lot of points in here. I guess because for the last 20 years, I've just had the movie on repeat in front of me and not the book chapters, right? So it's familiar that everything is just following this logical, smooth order in the movie. But in the book, it felt like... Yeah, we already know. I mean, you get a lot more from the orcs. Oh, I'm going to butcher their names now.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. Like Ugluk and all that.
Ugluk, that's right. Because he's the big one that says, in the movie, meat's back on the menu. Which, of course, they don't use in the book. That never came in the book. But you get a lot more of this back and forth of... the promise that I'll hurt you when we're done with this. I'll hurt you at the end. You'll pay for it by the end of it. I don't know. It felt so much more streamlined in the movie, so I appreciate that.
I think it's interesting too how I don't think that's really clear in the movie that there are like two sets of orcs.
No, that's not. But in the book,
Yeah, you've got Sauron's orcs and Saruman's Uruk-hai. And there's really a rivalry between the two.
Right.
And they're the Uruk-hai are going to take the hobbits to Orthanc because...
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Saruman... He's trying to get the ring before Sauron does.
That's right.
Yeah.
He doesn't send it on to his master. Bring it to me.
Yeah. And I think that the orcs of what is the name of Mordor? What do they call it? It's like the orc name. Oh my gosh!
Again, I'm going to butcher these.
I'll have to edit this
Lugburs was a
out.
name.
Lugburs,
Yeah,
yeah.
Lugburs.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Lugburs. They're trying to get the hobbits there, and so they're trying to figure all this out. And
But they also, like in the book, it's clear that there's two different sets of them because the Uruk-hai were specifically bred to withstand daylight. They don't have to hide during the day.
Yeah.
The others really need to be hiding during the daylight. They are weakened. It hurts them.
Yeah.
But the Uruk-hai are like, you'll run, or else I'll, stab you. You'll run. Blah, blah. But yeah, I think that's another detail that I prefer from the book because the movie shows Saruman creating Uruk-hai. They're kind of like digging them out of like these pits in the earth where they've kind of boiled them up.
Which was Peter Jackson horror master.
Yeah. Did that so well. But in the book, in Fellowship, it was only briefly mentioned that he's done something profane to make these Uruk-hai. But in Two Towers, I forget who it is that speculates. Has he been crossing men and orcs?
I think it was Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli because they're talking about how. Because you're talking about Gimli's wanting to rest at night,
Right.
And they're kind of agreeing like we're tired, we've got to rest, but we don't know when the best time to rest is because typically orcs will run at night and they need to rest in the daytime. But these are just running all the time. And that's when they're kind of like, has he crossbred humans? And yeah.
In the movie, I don't think that ever gets brought up even in the extended edition. But yeah, it made me like really grossed out of like, what is he doing to hybridize these things? And when you think about the implications of that, it's like, oh God, Saruman, you are evil. You really are awful.
There is that scene where it's in the Fellowship, where he pulls that one out
Of that
and then he's like
membrane.
walking around him and he's kind of like describing who he is, how he was created, and then he's like, whom do you serve?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, Saruman.
I'm going to change my text message ringtone to, whom do you serve?
That kind of gets, though, into the structure that I've talked to you and Nathan about is I kind of felt like that when we meet with Frodo and Sam much, much later in the book, that felt like it was like directly written after we got done with Fellowship. And then Tolkien had written the hunt or the chase for the orcs and then for some reason decided I'm going to take this and actually put this here.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt different. Did it feel like that to you? It felt different to me. It almost. I mean, I know that he's kind of got them listed as like book 4, book 5, or whatever. But it did feel like two separate books almost, which may be the intention. But I just felt like that there was more like streamlined because would you agree that first part was dialogue heavy?
Yes. Oh, yes.
And I don't think that the second part was.
No.
It was more like what we were reading.
Yeah.
So I just wonder kind of what was going on there.
I, again, am not saying anything bad about Tolkien as a writer.
No.
I am not.
We would never.
I would never.
But if it were me.
But again, not only that part, the part about the Ent, meeting the Ent and going on for pages about Ent wives. And then later on with Helm's Deep, I just felt like, wow, Tolkien's not messy. I'm not saying he's messy. And I love talking about structure. Atticus and I love talking about the structure.
I love the structure.
He's not messy with the structure of this, but it certainly benefits from being streamlined by a bunch of other capable hands who can clarify and distill. Let's focus on this right here. Early on in Fellowship, there was a bunch of hobbits. You've got Frodo and Falco, you've got Merry and Pip, you've got Frodo and Sam. But really, 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 we care about Merry and Pip as a duo, and we care about Frodo and Sam as a duo. Why did it take so long before we finally got there? Except that our writer was kind of like working his way toward that understanding. And I don't know. I'm not going to tell a guy to go back and clean up your draft and say, fix it. It really should have been this from the start. But Peter Jackson fixed that in his movie.
Yeah.
We only really need these two and these two. And by the time you're on the hunt for the orcs, we don't have to tell that story and then get into the Rohirrim and then do this. And now let's hear it again from this person's side all over again. It just felt smoother.
I think that goes into something we've talked about before is like if you took like a book like Frankenstein and kind of had it written in a modern storytelling way, would it be improved upon? Not that
so.
Mary Shelley's writing is not worthy. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
It's just kind of like what we've talked about is, I mean, people have been telling stories for eternity, right? Like eternity. But I don't know. It just seems like storytelling in our lifetime has advanced.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so, and I would, like you said, I'm not saying that Tolkien is at fault, and I'm not saying that this is bad writing at all. I think it's great. But I just wonder if that is like a case of that, where if you took like Dracula or if you took like Frankenstein and gave it, if you drop Mary Shelley into 2010, what does Frankenstein look like? Does that make sense?
You know, we really ought to hear from a Tolkien expert like Stephen Colbert.
Or Shirley Laird.
Right? But it made me think that the last time we talked to Dr. Laird about this, a Tolkien expert who loves her some Tolkien, she also, when I brought up, that he likes his languages, that he makes up all these different languages, she did kind of pause there and was like, he does love making his languages. And I could detect, you don't like that part. And I was like, I don't like that. Like the songs, I always skip over.
We got validation too, because we said something about the songs. She goes, I just skip over those.
Right.
Tolkien.
Yeah.
She goes, Tolkien.
It made me think, okay, so maybe even the experts can look at his writing and be like, he really enjoys this part. I'm going to let him have his playtime with this part. But really, the story got better when yada, yada, yada.
One thing that she said, though, we were talking about the Uruk-hai and Saruman, mixing the two, but also at Helm's Deep, there are men at the battle against the Rohirrim.
I remembered that while reading it,
Yeah.
and Peter Jackson does utilize it in the movie. Do you remember this?
Briefly, yeah. I know that there's that scene where they're raiding the villages
even Saruman
and stuff.
in the movie talks to him and
That's right,
fires
yeah,
him up, right?
yeah.
And I had forgotten. Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
But these are people who have been dispossessed in a way by the Rohirrim, and yet they kind of had it coming. You've been a lawless band of people that the Rohirrim have been dealing with, and you've been driven, and you're much more savage. It's not that you're redeemable people who have your shot at justice. You're awful, terrible, wild people, and he's firing you up because he knows he can weaponize you. So that's what it is.
Huh.
But yeah, how about that?
How about that?
That he knows he can fire up a crowd of people who feel dispossessed and say, yeah, your real enemy is the one over there. How about that?
Storm that castle.
And they do. They storm a Helm's Deep, don't they?
Well, one thing Dr. Laird said, though, was she felt like that in Lord of the Rings, it was very black or white, that there wasn't a gray. But I do feel like that men are the gray area, because you look at Boromir. He could have gone either way, right? He's tempted by the ring, and he kind of falls for that temptation, but then he realizes quickly, like, I've really messed up. When Frodo runs away, it's kind of that shame moment of, I can't believe I just did that. And I do think when you look at men in these battles, they're fighting on both sides, whether they are just savages versus, I guess, like good guys. Do you know what I'm saying? You've got men fighting on both sides. So I do feel like that they're I think that, because I thought about that a lot when she said that, I think that Tolkien has set up, you have your guideposts of, okay, this is true good and this is true evil, and it's not hard to distinguish between the two. But then you do see that there are men, that's the gray, right, is the men. And I do think it is kind of like a, hey, look at you men, you can go either way, it's kind of up to us.
There's another brand of men that are in this too. When they're at the Black Gates of Mordor, and they see the other armies coming through. That's not an inhuman army. Those are the Harad, the Haradrim. So they're the Easterlings. You get different men. There's not just men are good guys. The Rohirrim are good, for the most part. The Rohirrim are good. There's Wormtongue. Wormtongue and Theoden, we got to talk about that,
Oh, of
too.
course we will.
But yeah, there's like all different varieties of good and evil that are within the men here. Do you ever get that with the dwarves? Are the dwarves ever really bad?
Yeah. I don't think that they're really bad. When you look at the Hobbit, they just want their land back.
Yeah.
They're
the dwarves.
They just want their home back, I should
Dwarves
say.
are going to be dwarves are going to be dwarves.
Right.
In the Hobbit, you get the Wood Elves and the High Elves. You get Elrond's elves, and you get Thranduil's elves. So I feel like even there's a little bit more of like, these elves are like this, but elves are elves are elves. They're all still going to be naturally good people. But man has the room for gray area that's in there. Oh, and Ents. You never get a bad Ent.
Oh,
no. Ents are
Treebeard.
supremely good.
Yes.
They may be asleep, but they're supremely good.
I'm trying to figure out if Treebeard looks like Treebeard in the movie or more humanish, because it seems like he's described more of like...
He even lies down. He even lies down on a bed at one point where he kind of bends in the middle. And I was like, oh, Treebeard can't bend. No.
Did you read it like, hello, little boss?
I loved how, okay, so I know Tolkien really gets into his languages, and sometimes that's a little bit eye-rolling to me. But when he was saying, "Hurrum, hurrum, hurrum, hurrum," I was like, I can totally hear John Rhys Davies saying, "Hurrum, hurrum, hurrum."
What a versatile actor. Because he's Gimli, he's Treebeard, and then in maybe my favorite, James Bond, The Living Daylights, he's like the bad guy, but then he turns into the good guy. But then he's in Indiana Jones.
That's right.
He basically is the exact same character in Indiana Jones that he is in The Living Daylights. It's almost the exact same character.
I love that.
Because he goes to Tunisia to find him in James Bond. And where are they in Indiana Jones when they seek him out, right?
Yeah,
It's like
they're in Egypt. They're in Cairo.
It's the exact same character.
That's so funny. And I mean, he plays a dwarf, but he also gets to voice Treebeard. Does he do anything else in this?
I'm not really sure.
I mean, I don't know if it was a surprise to people when it first came out, but I could definitely hear John Rhys Davies' voice as Treebeard. But yeah, reading it, the Hurrum-Barum, that's what Treebeard should look like and sound like.
The whole language aspect, I think, is interesting and fascinating, but also at the same time, which I guess is typical, but like Gandalf has so many names, right? Because
Mithrandir, Gandalf Greyhaim.
Yeah, they know him by something different in Rohan.
Yeah,
it's just like almost you almost have to like keep a list of okay. When they're talking about Greyhaim, they're actually talking about Gandalf, or do you know what I'm saying?
Or like when Aragorn goes somewhere and Butterbur calls him Strider.
Yeah,
and that's an insult, but he can call me that.
Yeah. So Theoden, the Rohirrim, my favorite group of people.
Yeah.
They show up, and it's a little bit different than the movie, just a little bit, because what's the nephew's name? Éomer is in the movie. He's exiled, right?
Right.
And he's not
supposed to be
really exiled in the book. He is kind of like outcast, but he's still there at Medusel.
Yeah.
But you were talking about Wormtongue and Harold Lauder being similar, and we've talked about how The Stand and Lord of the Rings are so common. Where you can tell King pulled from, right? But yeah, I do. I mean, I agree with you. After we kind of were texting about it, he has had many times that they've offered him grace, and he's denied that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought it was interesting at Helm's Deep, where Theoden is like, I miss both my counselors, Gandalf and Wormtongue. I thought that was an odd thing to say.
Well, even at the very beginning of that part, Wormtongue's power over him is broken. And I have a question about that too. Is Wormtongue a sorcerer of some kind? It never explains that in the movies. It never explains that in the book. But Wormtongue has some sort of power over Theoden that not only by words and just your thinking, he has corrupted him into where he's withered with age. And in the book, too, Theoden has to take a sword in hand. He has to stand up, and you can see youth and vigor is coming back to him. So somehow Theoden, whether it's Saruman conducting this power through Wormtongue or what, has wielded some sort of sorcery over him.
Well, in the movie, it is Saruman. Because when Gandalf shows up, he's speaking.
He speaks through him.
Yeah,
that's right.
and then he does that. Right. And you have that scene where Saruman flies back.
Right. And maybe that's another instance of Peter Jackson being like, it kind of makes more sense if we clarify it this way.
Yeah.
But immediately, Theoden looks at Wormtongue and is like, you stand with us. You stand with us. You can redeem yourself. You stand with us. And the guy's like, just looks at him, sneers at him, spits at his feet, and then takes a hike. In the movie, Theoden throws him to the ground and says, get out of here. You're exiled. Don't ever come back.
And then he goes to kill him because, remember, Aragorn gets in front of him and prevents that from happening.
Yeah. But in the book, no. Theoden, it's like he forgives him immediately. What? I was kind of shocked by that. Not only that forgiveness, but also I kind of wish I had my advisor here. Really?
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah.
No.
Do you think it's because he was like a yes man? And maybe he found comfort in that? Or is that, again, that gray area that Tolkien's kind of driving at with men where
maybe
you've got Gandalf, who we know is good, and you've got Wormtongue. Like, okay, Theoden, how can you not? The guy's last name is Wormtongue. How do you not see through that? I just wonder where it's kind of like almost like an addiction. I feel like Dr. Laird talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, she talked about the scholar telling the same thing. And far be it from me, I'm not going to claim sources that are not my own. Dr. Laird would definitely be ashamed of me if I did that. But I think it's also like anybody can kind of look through this and be like, I see the addictive power of the ring. But I can also see the addictive power of having a Palantir. I can see the addictive power of having an advisor. I can see the addictive power of having Gandalf involved. Gandalf rejects the ring because he knows I would wield it out of a sense of good, but I would be awful.
Yeah.
Well, what about always deferring to the counsel of Gandalf? If we always have a Gandalf to tell us what to do, are we ever choosing to do anything on our own?
Yeah. Which I think Gandalf realizes that because that's why he just kind of disappears at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the high-minded literary work of Harry Potter, there's got to be a point where Harry Potter loses the people that have been covering for him all these years, whether it's his ideal father figure, Sirius Black, or any of the other people. Not Gandalf, but Dumbledore. Like, these people are taken away from you because otherwise your hero is just a victim who's pulled around. He needs to be able to stand on his own. And so if we just have Gandalf telling us what to do, Aragorn never gets to be Aragorn.
He never becomes
And Frodo has to make this journey too. Sam says, I can carry you, right? Like, we can have assistance there, but Frodo has to make this decision himself.
I thought it was really interesting when Aragorn, they kind of meet the Rohirrim and he mentions Gandalf, and they're kind of like, he was a friend, but you're not allowed to say his name anymore here, which is obviously the work of Wormtongue, right? I had a note. I put Gandalf, the symbol of wisdom, knowledge, determination, due diligence, fairness to all, inherent good. His name can't be spoken anymore because the leader has been poisoned by conspiracy theories, false information, lies, and deceit. And I said that the same thing is happening to the principles Gandalf represents today.
I'm just glad we don't live in a society like that where I can sit in open public and talk about whatever and not feel like, ooh, I have to be quiet and not say my candidate's name. Right?
I mean, it's just, we talk about this all the time on here, why it's important to read. Like, Tolkien has written this in the 50s. And I sent you the video where he talked about this was for World War I. And it's still relevant today. You know, it's just these warnings these authors give us are so applicable to even today.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think, again, this is just me ascribing my assumptions. I'm not claiming knowledge or anything. I think Theoden is a great example of a king who has been warped by some things and realizes, you know what, I've made big mistakes in the past, and this is going to be a long road to hoe. We need to start right now on fixing things. And I'm just as to blame as any of this. I listen to bad advice, and sometimes I still wish I had somebody to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Well, we all wish we had somebody to tell us what to do, right? Frodo even thinks, I wish this hadn't come to me. LOL, everybody wishes that, but you still have to make those decisions.
Yeah.
Theoden's a good example of, we need to start buckling down right now. I was just surprised by how fast it happened in the book. It's like
it did.
Theoden
Yeah.
was just now redeemed, and he's like, we better hustle up and get to Helm's Deep. And I'm like, why?
Oh, I know.
Like,
yeah. Just immediate.
In the book, I don't feel like it's that threatening. The movie, I think Peter Jackson does a great job of taking that moment and pivoting it into, this is the first real assault of the War of the Ring.
Yeah.
Like, this is where it's going to start. That whole army of Uruk-hai was bred to exterminate humans. And I didn't really get that from the read of the book. It's like, oh, there's going to be a battle. They're coming for you. But no, we're out to exterminate you.
Well, in the movie, you have that scene when he kind of awakens and he's like, where is my son? When he awakens in the book, he already knows that he's been killed.
Do you know, I had to read back through a couple of times, and I'm like, wait a minute, where did he mention Theodred?
Yeah.
Did I read it, but where?
He already knew.
He knew
that,
about
yeah.
it.
And you get that really powerful scene in the movie where he goes and he's at the tomb and he realizes, I've let this corrupt me and I've missed my son's death and all those things. And then it's kind of like we might need to get to Helm's Deep because they're coming. As opposed to, like you said, he kind of snaps to, asks Wormtongue to stay. He says no. And then he's like, well, all right, pack up. We're going to Helm's Deep. It just happened so quickly. Yeah. The movie is my favorite movie of the three, which I've always wondered because I prefer, you and I have talked about this, in a trilogy, Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, yeah.
And I've always wondered if it's because you've got a full story over 3 parts, and in the middle is really where the character development's happening, right? You're introduced to the problem, to the characters in part 1, and then in part 2, it's kind of like, okay, let's roll up our sleeves. Let's look at the problem here. Let's look at how these characters are developing. This conflict's getting deeper. And then in part 3, you realize, okay, I'm on the back end of this. Do you know what I'm saying? So I've always wondered if that's why I prefer the middle parts in a trilogy. But I don't know. There's just little nuances in the movie that are different than the book that I think that I prefer, to be honest with you.
Out of the 3 movies, which is your least favorite?
I don't know.
And why is it Return of the King? Because it's my least favorite. I mean, there are some parts to it that I think are very meritable, whatever. But when I go back on my rewatches of them, I always rewatch Fellowship, and I always rewatch Two Towers. I really don't rewatch Return of the King that much.
I don't know the answer to that question because I think that there are parts in Return of the King that I like better than all of them. Obviously, when the Rohirrim show up is my favorite part of the whole thing. And then I love where she's like, I am no man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that. Yes. So I don't know the answer to that question.
Eowyn, just like Arwen, is another
very
undeveloped
minor
character in the book.
Very minor, yeah.
Like, she gets left behind as lady of the
they
Rittermark while they go to Helm's Deep. But no, in the movie, she goes with them because somebody we're all going. We're all evacuating.
I thought that was odd. I thought that was odd that they basically said, we're vacating this whole city except for you. You've got to stay and guard the treasure.
That also doesn't really make sense to me because if this army is really coming after you, why are they not going after the Rittermark? Because you're leaving Edoras to go to Helm's Deep.
Yes.
So you're telling me that they would rather attack Helm's Deep than they would Edoras? No, and you just left your niece to watch the house
like a skeleton
while
crew.
They're coming.
It's like Walmart the day after Thanksgiving where it's like, nobody's here.
don't know that makes sense to my head too. But I don't know. I can't summon up Tolkien and be like, hey,
Well, we could.
I mean, I'm not gonna.
Hello, old chap. I've come to answer your question.
Right? But it's like, did you really think about that? Like, why are they going there? I don't know.
One thing that does happen, though, with Aragorn, we were talking about the different names, is he gets a new name.
Yeah.
And Aramir says, I'll call you Wingfoot. Mm-hmm. I was like, heck yeah. Another name for Aragorn.
I know that Tolkien definitely knew his Anglo-Saxon. He is definitely a student and teacher of British language and history. And when I teach Beowulf, one of the common literary features is the kenning. Do you know about kennings?
No.
Kennings are they're really nifty. You know them whether you know them or not. They're these really nifty 2-word or 3-word nicknames that we just use in the language. When you read Beowulf, you'll hear about the hero coming across the Swan Road. What the heck's a Swan Road? It's the ocean. But, I mean, it's a nifty, poetic way of describing something. Sometimes they'll call the ocean the whale bath. Because if you think of a bath big enough to fit a whale, it's going to be the ocean, right? When he fights the evil Grendel, he calls him Shepherd of Evil, Guardian of Crime. Well, those are great, lofty nicknames that we use to characterize. Grendel's mother is called the She-Wolf or the Sea Hag. So it's like these great 2-word nicknames to characterize. And we still use them today. Like you think of one of my favorite meals, it is literally ground beef that you have formed into a loaf and baked in the oven.
Oh, yeah.
Meatloaf is a great kenning. You could have called it beef brick, and it's the same thing, right? But he uses all of these kennings, all of these surnames that go along these epithets. That's a tradition that comes from our Anglo-Saxon epics, that comes from our Greek epics. You think about all the epithets that are used in the Odyssey or the Iliad for our Greek heroes. So Tolkien gives epithets to Mithrandir and to Aragorn as well. They get a lot of nicknames. Wingfoot. Right? You can almost see him like signing his name. I'm Aragorn, comma, Wingfoot.
Well, I've got here Aragorn, son of Arathorn, elf friend, and Elfstone, Strider, Wingfoot. See, add another one to the list.
I think that's another thing he picked up too. Aragorn is son of who?
Aragorn is son of Arathorn.
And their names sound similar.
Yeah. And then you get, though, he's elf friend, Elfstone, and they call, and I can't remember the exact elf word for that, but he's heir of Isildur, who they also refer to as Elendil, which is similar to the word that they call him in Elfish, which is like elf friend, Elfstone, whatever. So
I think that's also a tradition that comes down to us through Anglo-Saxons and the Danes as well, that it was not uncommon for fathers to name their sons similar sounding names.
Yeah.
And we probably kind of even do that nowadays too. Because when Beowulf, who is son of Ecgtheow, shows up, his name is not at all like his father's name. So it looks like, okay, well, why does that matter? Because if Ecgtheow was a hero, Beowulf is something new, beyond heroic. He's super heroic. But Aragorn is son of Arathorn. There's a tradition, there's a lineage that goes down through here. So that seems to fit also. Arathorn.
He has a great quote that I wrote down. Aragorn does, Wingfoot. He says, when the great fall, the less must lead.
You're going to get that tattooed on your forearm,
It's
aren't
already
you?
there. I haven't showed you, but it's
And just show
there.
it to your students during the
it's got
semester. When the great fall.
It's got the shards of Narsil under
Oh,
it.
yeah, right?
They go to Helm's Deep to battle, and I don't know. It's not as... do you feel like it was as epic as it was in the movie? Yeah, I don't think so either.
Nope.
Which is where Christopher Tolkien's over here in the corner
Oh
saying,
my gosh.
told you so.
But do you know, I always told people, like, Tolkien's not going to be glorifying war. That's why Bilbo misses out on the Battle of Five Armies. Like, we shouldn't be glorifying that. And yet, I found myself thinking, wasn't there more? Wasn't there more to be told about this? Because we're missing out on all the great consequence of why this battle at Helm's Deep matters so much. We have we have retreated to this one spot. If we lose here, it is over. And this is the first assault on Middle-earth from Mordor.
Well,
so it matters very much.
They keep talking too how Helm's Deep's never been sacked, right?
Yeah.
Like it's never been sacked,
And boy, the wall was breached really quickly, and it tells that they breached it with fire. Okay,
yeah.
but in the movie, you see that this is some new invention.
Kamikaze coming in.
Oh my gosh! And it's basically gunpowder, and it's just like, we need to stop that. Bring him down right now. Bring him down. Kaboom!
Yeah.
It matters so much more in the movie.
Yeah. You also get in the movie that you don't get in the book. Throw me across. Toss me.
In my headcanon, that still happens. You're going to have to toss me.
So famously, between the two, and it's so hard not to talk about the movie and the books. They're so closely tied. But famously in the movies, the Ents kind of show up in the book with their tree herd.
Treebeard was so much more incensed by all of that in the book than he was in the movie.
Yeah.
In the movie, he was like, I don't think that's true. We'll talk about it, but I don't think that's true.
But also, though, in the movie, they have the Entmoot, and they kind of come to the conclusion, like, we're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
But they were, like,
They
in the
were.
book, ready
Oh,
to go
yeah.
to war.
Because Treebeard was like fired up about
Yeah.
it. Like, a wizard should know better. Like, we're going to do something
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
And it does still take them 3 days because Ents can't do anything quickly. We're not. What is he keeps saying? Hasty. Oh. Like, you give him a one-word answer to something, it's like, ooh, hasty, boom. You can't be just giving me an answer.
Yeah.
He's even offended a little bit by, your names are Merry and Pippin. Oh, wow, hasty. Oh, you can't be giving me short names like that. But he is so much more incensed that it's almost like Treebeard is firing them up for 3 days of, here's why we have to do this. That's not how it appeared in the
Well,
movie.
he even sends Merry and Pippin with, what's his name? Is it Longbeam or Shortbeam?
Quickbeam.
Quickbeam, that's
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Quickbeam. He sends him with Quickbeam because he's like, he's already got his mind made up. He's ready to go. So y'all can just go on and stay with him.
Yeah.
But the Ents show up at Helm's Deep and kind of really are what seal the deal for
Which
Rohan.
doesn't happen in the movie
The
at
elves
all.
come. Yeah.
What did they do?
What do you mean?
What did the Ents do that helped seal the deal?
Well, they destroy that orc army, right? They turn to run and they
raise a forest.
Yeah.
I mean, Ents are supposed to be shepherds of the trees.
Right.
So here's the orcs that are defeated and they're retreating, but there's nowhere to retreat to because now there's just suddenly a forest that's there blocking their path. And it says that the orcs scramble off into the darkness of the trees and are never seen again.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Which is in the extended cut.
Yes.
By the way. But I didn't know, do you have a preference on that with the elves or I kind of like the elves showing up.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too because the whole theme is that we've not gotten together in years, right? What's Theoden's big argument? Where was Gondor when the Westfold fell? Where were any of you when I needed help? There's so little trust between elves and dwarves, but in book one, we're already breaking those barriers down.
Yeah.
Gimli falls in love with Galadriel, and she even gets a good chuckle out of it of like, ooh, don't ever let them say that the dwarves don't know how to use their good words.
And then he gets so mad at Éomer.
But I think I do prefer seeing this last little army of the elves showing up. We're not all the elves, but we are here to help you right now.
Yeah,
I
I
appreciate
think I like that too.
But does that spoil it for later in Return of the King when finally Theoden shows up and you get that good feeling of, I didn't forget you. We're going to be here to help you, Gondor.
I don't think so.
It's kind of a precursor to that.
I think though that, and I've said this a ton, when you read Return of the King, it almost is like we're not going to do it. And then he finally at the last minute decides, okay, we are going to go, which is similar in the movie, but you get that long road to Gondor. And then when you because if I can remember correctly, you kind of go back and forth between like the ride to Gondor and then the battle there, and you kind of getting like, if somebody doesn't show up, this is over.
Yeah.
And it's like that in the movie, but you don't get that, like, how long of a road it was for the Rohirrim to get there.
Yeah.
And so I think that it doesn't ruin it because, I don't know, that's the best part.
You get a road of travel in Two Towers as well in the movie, because the road from Edoras to Helm's Deep is a little bit of a journey.
Yeah.
And they're besieged by wargs and this and that along the way. And you also get a little bit more of the Éowyn has an eye for Aragorn, which is subtle. Am I wrong? It was subtle in the book. There's a part where she shows up to serve, which felt very reminiscent of Wealhtheow in Beowulf showing up to serve the mead to the mead hall. And here's Éowyn showing up to serve. And when she brings the cup to Aragorn, like there's a moment that their fingers brush.
Right, yeah.
And there's an awkward or something. And Aragorn turns his eyes away. If I didn't know any better, I don't think I would have flinched at that.
Yeah.
But knowing what I know, I'm like, he doesn't want to look her in the eyes because he doesn't want to break her heart.
Aragorn. He kind of leads her on in the movie just a little bit.
But he does, right? Yeah.
Just a little bit. Do you have anything about Helm's Deep?
Only that I wanted more out of it, but also last time we had asked if you could slip through the pages and go journeying off into Middle Earth, where would you go? And I said I was undecided, but maybe I would have gone to Hobbiton for a while and then to Khazad-dûm. I think I still want to, I want to sneak through Khazad-dûm. Like, I don't want to get caught in Khazad-dûm, but I kind of want to sneak through Khazad-dûm. But I also realized, I really want to see Helm's Deep. And I want to see the caves.
Yeah.
Because they go on and on about how majestic these caves are. And boy, if you could only see these caves. I'm terrified of, you see, people like Jim Fox who can just slip into a hole in the earth and just go everywhere. I'm terrified of getting caught in a tiny hole in the earth.
Yeah.
I never want to go that kind of caving. But it's neat to go down there. If you've ever been to the Lost Sea or Tuckaleechee or anywhere, getting to see these caves and imagine what are the caves beneath Helm's Deep like.
Yeah.
Ooh, apparently they're amazing.
Apparently so. Even Gandalf's like, you got to go see those. One thing I do want to talk about really quick while we're on this part is I think it was interesting how Treebeard talks about the other Ents became like trees.
Yeah.
He was kind of, I don't know, you could apply that to so much today, where you think about these people who just sit and listen to their own little world. They don't really look
or get
about.
complacent in their work, and you get into a rut.
Yeah,
and
you just
become a
fade into these people. And Treebeard's very upset at that because he's like, they just become trees. They don't move anymore. They're just another set of trees. I just thought that was interesting because Tolkien mentions that more than once.
Yeah.
He mentions it a couple times because when they're having the Ent moot, he mentions, or Treebeard's kind of talking about how he's not sure who's going to show up because he's afraid most of them have become trees.
Yeah. There's like a disappointment in we could be better and we should be better.
Yeah.
But how many of you are just willing to just settle
Go
or
on.
willing to just, I'm not going to get up. You're not even going to fight. You're not even going to continue to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. What even are you?
Let me get my notes pulled back up.
I think it's interesting that when you finally meet these Ents, there's, again, a song that I passed over, right? But I couldn't help but notice that it introduces the main races of Middle-earth.
Yeah.
That it begins with the oldest one, the elves.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the dwarves.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the Ents and then the humans. And that Merry is like, oh, well, you don't even mention hobbits. Maybe there could be a line like, and he adds his own little line about the arrival of hobbits. But if you're going to put them in order of age, shouldn't Ents, who are among the oldest beings in Middle-earth, shouldn't they have been up there with the elves? But they don't get introduced in the song until after dwarves. I don't know that that's correct.
I don't know. I'm trying to think back because in the Silmarillion it talks about how they're created. Because like the dwarves, I can't remember.
So did dwarves come first?
No, the elves were created, and then like you've got like these like. I apologize to the Tolkien deep lorists out there. The creator of all of this, he's got like his like little crew with him, and he creates the elves. Well, there was one of them wanted to create his own, and he created the dwarves in secret. That's why they're under the mountain, because they're like hidden. And the big guy finds out, and he's like, "Go and destroy the dwarves." And he can't do it because he's like, I love these. This is my creation. Like there's a scene where he's got a hammer and he's gonna just crush all the dwarves. And then they're kind of like, we'll go hide in the caves, and that way we won't be seen. So I can't remember where the Ents were in that though. I just remember that scene specifically because I thought
when I go to read the Silmarillion, I'm gonna have to keep an eye open for the Ents now.
The Ent lore.
I also figured out that we get to spend so much time in Fangorn Forest here. And which Treebeard's real name is Fangorn.
Fangorn, yeah.
How about that, right?
Well, also too in the movie, it's like such a cursed place, but in the book, it's like, no, this is a good place.
And actually, Mirkwood is way worse.
Yes,
Mirkwood is way worse.
Yeah.
There's parts of Mirkwood that are like pitch black, and you are not supposed to get off that path, or you will never find your way back. And also, let's be true tellers, Mirkwood is riddled with spiders, like giant spiders.
Well, doesn't Treebeard say something at one point where they kind of mention Legolas from Mirkwood, and he's kind of like, ugh,
Mirkwood. And I know, like, the Wood Elves are over there, so you got Thranduil, that's Legolas's family.
Right.
So, okay, there's some goodness to Mirkwood. But if I'm getting to journey through Middle-earth, I really wanted to kick around Fangorn Forest.
Yeah.
I can remember being a kid, getting to go play in the woods and loving like the rich, deep woods, the loamy smell of it, and the cool shade. Like there's some cool places to kick around in the woods.
I do think it's interesting of how they talk about how old they feel. But, you know, when you walk around our woods, it's kind of like, it's the forest. When you go into the Smokies,
that's old.
You feel that like ancient.
Yeah.
And so I think it's interesting how Tolkien kind of captures that.
So in our world, the Smokies are like Fangorn or the Misty Mountains, right?
Yeah.
The Smokies are supposed to be, right? The Smokies are supposed to be older than dinosaurs, older than trees, right? So the Smokies are old, ancient, prehistory kind of thing. Older than Ents. So he tells the hobbits, ooh, be careful when you're in Fangorn Forest. Like, don't, hack at trees or whatever. He would not have had that problem out of me. I would be like, it's fine. I'm not going to be spoiling this place. I like Fangorn Forest.
I like how they're making the fire outside the forest, and Gimli's got his axe, and he's like, look, we like it. Like, it's like they're leaning over watching, but I felt like that the trees were kind of like keeping an eye on him.
Oh, yeah.
But he was like, look, the trees, they love the warmth. They're happy for it. Like, I don't think so, Gimli.
No, that's not what it is. But in the movie, you hear the trees groaning, like, ugh.
Yeah.
I like that bit.
So the Ents go to Isengard, they siege that, and they trap Sauron, and eventually Wormtongue shows up, and he's pulled up there too.
He shows up as a messenger, and they were like, I don't think so. You're under house arrest.
We've completely just skipped over Gandalf shows back up, right?
Oh, that's right.
And I love, this is one thing I do like in the book, is how Theoden's like, or was it Éomer 1, where they're talking about how we've seen an old man walking around, and it's Saruman.
That's what the suspicion
is. And they see him.
Yeah.
And I love that they were that close to the bad guy.
Yeah.
He's the bad guy right now, right? He's the main baddie in this book. And he's right there, and they can't figure it out. But then Gandalf shows up, and they think that it's Saruman then, and it's not. But I did like that in the book, that Saruman was just right there, and I don't know. Like, it was almost
like Saruman.
Yeah.
Was it though?
No, they asked Gandalf. Do you remember?
Oh,
that?
yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
They're like, we thought you were Saruman. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And they were like, we saw him, or was it you? And Gandalf was like, well, that wasn't me. So
I loved how they played that in the movie, though, that when he shows up, they've blurred his voice.
And it sounds like Christopher Lee.
You can't quite tell if that's Ian McKellen or Christopher Lee. But in the book, when they meet him, he doesn't have a hood on, he has a hat on.
Yeah.
And as a reader, I was like, dead giveaway, that's not Saruman. Dead giveaway, that's Gandalf right there.
Saruman was walking around with a hat on. So I do think Tolkien was trying to make you think that was Saruman. But the presentation where he throws off, and it's like, oh, it's Gandalf. That's awesome in the movie. But I did like how, and I'm wondering, like, did Sauron know that, okay, these are the guys that I'm directly against? Because he kind of like stops and looks at him and then just keeps going.
Yeah.
But I do love how Gimli's just like a little scaredy cat, you know? He's so afraid of everything. Yeah. He's afraid of the forest. He's afraid of, he's like, did you see that old man over there?
Man, I can remember the movie of it when they're keeping count. And I don't know. I think part of me way back then was like, oh, okay, keeping count. Aren't we baddies? Like, we're shooting so many orcs. No, that literally happens in the book. Yeah. Like, he's like, 42. I got to make sure I tell him I had 42. And then Legolas is like, I at least had 2 score.
I think it's just a way that Tolkien can show that friendship, right?
Yeah.
There's still that competitiveness, but I mean, that's, you and I would do something like that, you know, if we were out. So,
well, also that there's an appreciation at first. You're a dwarf, I'm an elf. I don't really, whatever. There's a barrier between us. But here, after talking about the caves and whatnot, he's like, you know what? One day I'll go look at the caves with you, and you come look at the woods with me. And we'll show you around.
Spoiler alert, they do that, which I think is really cool.
That's true.
Not really too much to talk about at Isengard, I don't think.
No.
After that, other than I did have a note, because Pippin basically, he catches all of us up on what took place there. And he starts to sing. He's like singing all these songs, you know? And I put a note. I put, Pippin says, would you care to sing us another song? And Tolkien says, I'd love to.
In the movie, they find them sitting upon the wall, and they're like, the captors of Isengard, blah, blah, blah. And they're not only eating the salt pork, which everybody's like, ooh, nice, but they're also smoking the old Toby.
Bottom leaf.
Right? And Saruman chastised Gandalf and said, you have become too fond of the Hobbit smoke. Saruman, you're also hoarding it. You're hoarding it in the bottom of Isengard because they found it. And on the read-through, it made me think, oh, wait a minute. If he actually had Hobbit leaf there, that means Saruman has already been drawing designs against the Shire. There's a tiny little hook of a detail that the Shire is next. That Saruman's already got plans for what's going to happen to you.
Yeah. So the songs. I kind of mentioned this to Dr. Laird when we talked to her, but I just wonder, there's that pub culture in England. The pub songs. They sing about everything over there. You watch a soccer game, they're singing constantly. So I just wondered if that was like kind of part of of Tolkien. I mean, because it almost is like an English folktale, a large English folktale, right? And I just wonder if that is just some of that English culture.
And who are your heroes but people who would go to the pub, right?
Exactly, yeah. And so I just wondered if that was like one of the reasons for so many of the songs.
I guess so. I mean, there's also a heritage. There's a culture to it. If you and I were writing our version of this, wouldn't it have been in Appalachia? And aren't there going to be banjos, mandolin, something like that? Our heroes are going to be singing that.
Gwahir saves Gandalf again.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just thought that was so funny because when he comes, he's talking about how he's just on top of that mountain. He's defeated the Balrog. And he's laying there kind of like, well, I guess I'll just die. Because he even says that. He's like, I didn't have the strength to get up, but I just thought I'd lay there. And then Gwahir shows up and he says to him, he's like, Gwahir, I'm a great burden to you. And Gwahir's like, yes, you are a great burden to me. He bails him out in The Hobbit once. And in the Fellowship, he bails him out there. And then he bails him out again here.
I wonder if we're going to see him in Return of the King. I wonder if Fire shows up there, too.
Which is why, for my birthday, Mary Beth was like, I want to get you a Funko Pop for your bookshelf.
Oh.
And I was like, I want this. And it's Gandalf riding on Gwahir. Because who's the real hero here? Is it Gandalf or is it Gwahir?
Right. Old Gwahir.
But that does go into something, which Dr. Laird brought it up. Why not give the ring to the Eagles?
Well, A, plot, right? Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to tell the story. But also B, I mean, your heroes have to be made to suffer. I mean, there are certain things that can only be done. What was the saying? Only Nixon could go to China. Only this person could do that. Who was it? Somebody in here. Oh, no. It was somebody in the fandom who was like, if the ring is such a corrupting influence, why not put it on a chicken?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then send it. But the joke of it is that's basically what the
they
elves
did,
have
yeah.
done is put it on a chicken, the Hobbit, and whatever. It's just going to be a chicken. You have to be made to suffer.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's such an easy Deus Ex Machina if we said, oh, well, we just gave it to the Eagles and let them drop it down a volcano.
I think it's easy to say that if you've not read or watched it, because it does talk about how Sauron's looking for it, right? His gaze is looking for it. And that's something that they talk about is whenever Isengard has been sacked, they see the Nazgul flying because they're like, well, he's about to find out.
They've taken to the air now.
Well, they're talking about how the Nazgul was flying to Isengard to talk to Saruman, and that was something that Gandalf mentioned was, well, Sauron's about to find out what we've done at Isengard, so we're going to have to really, really get to going now. And because he was saying how that's going to fix his gaze this way, because he thinks the ring's going to be coming this way. And so if you brought an eagle, to me, that would be, if I'm Sauron, I'm like, oh yeah, duh. Of course you would fly it this way, right? But then also, he's got the Nazgul on their winged steeds.
Oh yeah.
And in the battle, they're fighting each other.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it is as straightforward as just here.
No.
And also too, you don't know the temptation.
That's what I was going to say.
That those eagles would undertake.
Like, our heroes who have already been offered the ring or knew to not accept it have openly admitted what an awful, terrible force of nature I would become. Galadriel would become as dark and beautiful and terrible as the dawn, that she would become an evil queen. Gandalf knows I would become the next whatever. You're going to give this to Gwahir, the Lord of the Eagles? And if it corrupts him, oh my Lord, now we have a flying Sauron. We have a flying Sauron who's just going to swoop down and take all of us away. Don't give it to Gwahir.
And Gwahir seems to be on the same level to me as Gandalf and Galadriel. So who's to say Gandalf was not like, Gwahir, would you take this? And he said, I'm not going to even come close to that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think that it's as straightforward as people think.
No.
So the story shifts to Sam and Frodo.
Yeah.
The first time I read through, I was so annoyed with Frodo. But for some reason, this time reading through, I really pitied him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I do.
I kind of was like, okay, I get it. Frodo really is the hero in all of this.
Yeah.
I really get it. Did you have because you and I talked about that in our preview, about how we were like, Frodo is just so, I don't want to, do I have to, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I just
Did not
completely
feel that way.
changed, yeah.
But I will say, the part of this book that bored me the most was that part.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I read it, but did I skim a little bit? Yes.
Yeah.
I was kind of yawn with the Faramir bit, with the pool bit. Oh, well. And I mean, it doesn't happen that way exactly that it does in the movie. Faramir just sends them on. He just sends them on. I don't know. I was underwhelmed by that part of the book.
But does Faramir send them on in the movie? Because remember,
he captures
they
them
go
at first.
to Osgiliath, do they
Yeah,
not?
well, he's going to.
Yeah.
He captures them and is like, we have a great weapon now, and I will send it back to my father. In the movie. That's what he says
in
he's
the
going
book,
to do.
he sends them on.
And so there's this whole trepidation of, no, you can't have whatever this is. But in the book, yeah.
I think, though, there's a difference between Faramir in the movie and the book. There's a lot of similarities between the two, and he's a lot more prevalent in the extended cut.
Yeah.
But in the book, Faramir, he's kind of accepted that Boromir is Dad's favorite. But he's also kind of like, I'm glad I'm not like Boromir, because he talks about how when he finally figures out what Isildur's Bane is, and then he finally figures out, oh, so my brother tried to take this, didn't he? He also says, I'm not shocked. Because
Yeah.
I think that Frodo and Sam are afraid that he's going to blame them for Boromir's death. But he kind of says, I'm not shocked that Boromir did that.
Yeah.
So
The part that did get me, though, that I really did not remember that this was in book 2, Shelob. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
When I was like, oh, are we not supposed to be done by now? Wait, there's more? I went ahead and looked back at my table and I was like, oh God. Oh no.
Yeah.
That terrifies me. Shelob. And knowing that I remember that they're going to eventually go up into the tower at Cirith Ungol, but Shelob.
it's so weird too, because the way that Tolkien describes Shelob is like, he won't outright say that she's a spider. He almost like describes her as this like, I guess like godly being that has spider-like qualities.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Well, and I've not read the Silmarillion, but wasn't there one earlier
mom.
spider, Ungoliant?
Yeah.
Right? So she's the child of Ungoliant, which Ungoliant, I think, was supposed to be colossal, right?
Yeah.
Like gigantic. But she's already a giant-sized spider, but I mean colossal.
So in the Silmarillion, when Sauron kind of comes out as, I'm a bad guy, there's this period where he and Ungoliant, she is like his go-to. He's like, go destroy the city. And she just is going around Middle Earth. And there's a point where they're kind of like, if we don't kill Ungoliant, Sauron's going to take over Middle Earth. And they finally figure out a way to destroy her.
Oh.
And I just thought it was interesting too, though, because I didn't notice this the first time I read through. But Shelob, it mentions, is her last child. Did you see that? It was like Ungoliant's last child.
Yes.
And how she had all these other children who had been killed. Because that is something that like Ungoliant's trying to like continually have kids so she can like spread out. And they can kill the kids, but they can't kill Ungoliant. And they finally get to her, but I just thought it was interesting how Tolkien said Shelob was Ungoliant's last child. And I don't know, it does kind of make you think, oh gosh, this thing is awful.
Yes. The getting stabbed bit when Shelob stabs Frodo. Heck, even just the chasing through the tunnel.
When it's so dark
Oh
and
my
they can hear her behind them.
And you and I have talked before about like how, I mean, you're bothered by snakes. Who isn't going to be bothered by
Right.
snakes? I agree. You're also bothered by mice.
Oh,
right?
I hate mice,
Oh,
yeah.
right. I'm not as scared of mice. Like, I want to try to get mice out of my house if I ever find one, but I'm not terrified. If I see a mouse run across my floor, I'm much less terrified than if I see a wolf spider run across
Oh,
my
really?
floor. I had Rob Adcock came to my house the other day to look
Came
at
to my house the other
Did
day.
you really? So he came to my house to look at a job, and he crawled under the house in the crawl space, which we've had completely redone. As soon as I cracked it open, there is a giant, dead, upside-down wolf spider that is like an upside-down claw.
Yeah.
And Rob just hops in, crawls next to it, and I'm like, I cannot go near that. And when he's coming out, he points at it and says, never seen one that big. And I'm just like, I'm terrified of looking at this thing. I mean, it's half dollar size.
Yeah.
Now make it as big as a car.
Yeah.
Now make it as big as Ralph's Donuts. And it's crawling after you in a tunnel. I am, oh my.
There's the biblically accurate Shelob.
No, thank you. I mean, I'm sure it was before this, but ever since Arachnophobia in the 1990s, that John Goodman movie, I have been lethally terrified of spiders.
I also love, though, how Sauron is got her on a string. We're talking about addiction that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
keeps coming up. He has got her addicted because
Yes.
he's like slowly feeding her orcs. Because it was those two orcs were talking about how every now and then Sauron will be like,
Shagrat and Gorbag.
you
That's
gotta,
right. Yeah.
you gotta go through the mountain to get there, because they know why he's doing that.
That's right.
To feed her.
Yeah.
Or every now and then they'll have like men, they'll capture someone and Sauron will be like, yeah, bring them through the back pass or something like that. So I just think that that's just really, I just like evil feeding evil.
Yeah. And Dr. Laird referenced that he was bitten by a tarantula. Tolkien was bitten by a tarantula when he was a
And he
child.
said that way.
And I don't know. I don't know anything about that story, but boy, you can tell this guy. I mean, in The Hobbit, the spiders of Mirkwood are terrifying. And in this, you've got Shelob.
Yeah.
Spiders are an ultimate evil.
The book ends where Frodo's been stabbed, but Sam has the light from Galadriel that helps him to fight off. I don't know. He like kind of goes into. He just goes into like a blind rage with all that, and they drag Frodo to Cirith Ungol, right? And Sam follows behind, but he's loving how they think that he's like this great big mighty warrior. But I don't know. I think that was one thing that I took away this time was my feelings towards Frodo have changed. And I mean, why do you think that is? Do you think that's because we're older, or do you think that that's just I don't know?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I was a more impatient reader or something as a 19-year-old. I guess I was 18-year-old when I read this the last time, and now here I am at 46 after 20 years of watching the movie, and I don't know. I just don't feel that way about it.
I don't know. I kind of felt like Sam is the hero, but Frodo, you kind of just understand Frodo's carrying a great burden, you know?
Yeah.
Also, freaking Gollum. Ugh.
Yeah.
Can't get rid of him.
No. I think it was also interesting how everybody has had their chance to see Gollum like toting after him along the way. Because there was even a part earlier when they were at the river coming to the Falls of Rauros, and Aragorn was like, what's that over there in the river? Is there somebody? Oh, it's Gollum. Like, you can see him.
They don't do anything
down
about
the
it. It's got that plot armor.
That's right. Dr. Laird didn't imagine that Gollum could have followed them through Khazad-dûm. And I do think, I mean, plot-wise, I mean, once they get into Khazad-dûm, the Watcher in the water pulls down part of the wall outside and slams rocks up against the door, so nobody could have gotten in that way. Okay, but Gollum knows secret paths here and there and everywhere. Like, he knows the secret paths through Mordor. Is it possible that he knows a few secret paths through Khazad-dûm too? Yes, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. No issue of the fat hobbit eating all the limbus bread. We didn't have the fat hobbit eating all the limbus bread.
No, we didn't. We sure didn't.
Yeah. Do you prefer that or no?
Yes.
Do you?
I mean, I do.
Yeah.
We also didn't get the whole potatoes.
No, that's in there.
I mean, not like singing it though. Potatoes, boil them, bag them, dish them in a stew. I mean, I prefer it.
Yeah.
I prefer this one.
Yeah. So this better than Fellowship.
I don't know about better than Fellowship. I don't know about
Because Dr.
better than
Laird,
that.
we keep referencing back to our Gandalf. Dr. Laird said she thought that this was the worst of the three.
Yeah. I'm going to hold judgment on that until I read Return of the King, though. I mean, it is my least favorite of the three movies, so I don't know. I don't know what I think about that yet. I don't know. I like this one. I did not like this one.
I liked it. I gave it a 5 stars. It was
Oh.
close, though. I almost gave it a 4 stars.
I haven't rated it yet. I also forgot to even put it in my Goodreads.
Oh, you got to put it in there. Did you even read it?
I have read it. I thought about that this morning I didn't even tick it that I was reading it. I don't know. In my head, I'm kind of like 4.5. I mean, you can't give a 4.5 on Goodreads, but in my head, I'm like a 4.5.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, I'm going to give it a 5 stars because I can see the greater whole here. But
it just felt rushed, like with the Battle of Helm's Deep. There were parts of it that just felt rushed, and parts of it that were like, okay, we've already heard this story. Why are you retelling it again?
yeah, that was my problem with the dialogue heavy parts. Was it felt like an ad almost. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, do you like long bottom leaf? Because we got plenty of it here. Let me tell you how we get our long bottom leaf.
And then we can do an ad for potatoes.
Yeah.
We have a brace of conies there.
It was killing me that they kept calling them conies.
Oh, but that's like an old English word for
I know,
them, right?
but I just kept thinking about Sonic. going to get a county dog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I did think, okay, there's another detail that the movie doesn't do. When Merry and Pip are held hostage by the Uruks, and you've got, what is his name? It's not Ooglook, it's the other one. So, not Grash Bag, but whatever it is, Trash Bag. It's whatever the other one's name is.
Like that, yeah.
He can tell, you're searching me right now because you know that I'm supposed to be carrying something, and I think you know what it is.
Yeah.
And so how does Pip lure him in? He goes, Gollum, Gollum. And he starts acting like that, which makes the orc be like, why would you talk like that?
Yeah.
Do you have something? That is such a subtle, tiny detail that I was like, Pip, you are so smart. Pip. And the movie never develops him that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, in the book, the Palantir.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't really
forgot
get to talk about the
that.
Palantir, but Wormtongue throws the Palantir down to him.
And you hear Sauron scream when he finds out that that's what he's thrown.
Why did Wormtongue throw the Palantir? I wonder what you think about this. Like, why did he throw it?
Part of me, I think, I'm kind of with Gandalf. I don't think he understood what he was throwing. I think he just grabbed something and was trying to hurl it down at them to hurt them. Because that's what Gandalf, because they're kind of like, why would Wormtongue throw this down? And Gandalf's like, I don't think he knew what he was doing.
Because, I mean...
But also, though, if he's mad at Saruman...
Yeah.
It's almost... It's almost like a toxic relationship.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, I wondered about that.
If I'm dating someone and we fight constantly, you know, I know what I can do to get you mad the most. And that, what am I going to throw out? We're fighting. What am I going to throw out the window first? I'm going to throw out your Palantir, because that's your connection to the big man.
Now, it's been a week since I've read that part. Where was Saruman standing in relationship to that? In the movie, they're both on the top of
Saruman
talking
popped
down.
out of a side door or something.
Saruman had popped out of somewhere closer to Gandalf, and that Wormtongue is up here from a different window throwing it down, right?
Yeah.
And so part of me was like, wait a minute, was that supposed to hit Saruman? Was Wormtongue having a little fit right there and and just threw it?
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, there's a toxicity to it, but also... Was that supposed to hit Saruman on the way down too? I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know if it was entirely just like getting rid of something, throwing it at Gandalf, or also meant to hit Saruman on the way down.
Also, too, when Pippin grabs the Palantir and he talks to Sauron, to Sauron. Sauron thinks that he is Frodo.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that.
Yeah.
That because he says, I'm coming for you.
That's right. Because that, like you had said, that distracts Sauron to thinking, the ring, it's over here. Go get it, go get it, go get it. And if he had not been distracted by that moment.
Yeah.
Isn't that, I guess, a larger theme, that if evil had not been so distracted and so focused, maybe it would have been better prepared.
Yeah.
Because Randall Flagg gets distracted by things. Like all our villains get so distracted if they knew better.
So maybe it'd be okay if you just keep going on about that 2020 election. Maybe it'll be okay.
They hadn't been so
you
obsessed.
Just keep going on about that. You're right. It was You're right.
It gives us a chance to fly over here. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Here comes John Ostman. Here he comes. That's our Gandalf.
That's right.
I just think I think there are a little bit more subtleties in this one than there were in the Fellowship like this. Like those little bitty things that you see when you read through it, and you're kind of like, oh, that was a clever little subtlety. But I think that was just the one thing that I've read a lot of dialogue-heavy books, you know, like the Perry Mason books, which I'm not comparing Perry Mason to Tolkien. That's not what I'm doing. But what I am saying is, when you read those books, it's like 80% dialogue. There's hardly any writing. Like the whole narrative is told through dialogue. Do you know what I'm saying? So I enjoy them. You know, I enjoy them. They go by fast.
This one went by faster than Fellowship did.
But it's Perry Mason, right? Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for that to be dialogue heavy, it kind of makes sense to me. But when you've got this, like, it was just so dense. The dialogue was so dense. And that's what I was saying. It was almost, because Tolkien is so descriptive. And he did not back down from that description in the dialogue. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there were just... At one point, I'd put a note where I was like, I don't even really care what Frodo and Sam's doing. Like, this is more interesting to me.
Yeah.
But then when I got to Frodo and Sam, and it was more kind of like that writing structure of what was in Fellowship, I was kind of thankful that I had made it here. I am like you. There were times where I was kind of like, I wish we could speed along here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because with Faramir, it was just kind of like, let's get to the point here, right? You know, like, I'm glad Faramir was there, and I like his character, and I like the descriptive scenes of him coming across Boromir. I think that those are really good scenes. But there were times where it was kind of like, can we just... Because how many times was it like... how many times was it like, go to sleep, hobbits. And then Sam would wake up, and Frodo and Faramir would be on the side just talking. And then you would be like in that conversation, and then Faramir would be like, okay, it's time to eat. And he would just like get up and walk off. And then he would come back and be like, okay, now, where were we at again? Oh, yeah, you and Boromir were in the forest together. And then he's like, okay, it's time to go to sleep. And then he was like, okay, wake up, Frodo. Let's talk more about Boromir and his soldiers. And it was kind of like, can we not like just get one conversation here and then kind of move on from that?
Yeah.
So there were a lot of times like that. I did think, though, them going through Shelob's lair was great.
Ugh. Yeah.
But that goes back to the movie aspect of it. If Peter Jackson doesn't have a horror background,
Oh, yeah,
you've
for
got
real.
to have that to tackle that. So
Yeah. I also like how in the movie Gollum is taunting them through Shelob's lair of like,
I know.
oh, this way, this way.
yeah, I know.
Here, Shelob.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're gonna rate it, you said 4.5.
My
So-
gut tells me 4.5.
But you can't do that.
I mean,
But you can't do
if
that.
I have to pick a Goodreads score, I'm going to pick a 5. I'm not going to err on the side of a 4.
Yeah, we I think have established 18, 19, 20 is a 5-star. So I would be at like 18. on
You
this.
would? You're an 18 for this?
Well, if 18, 19, 20 is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
5, yeah, I would
So
be
you're
at
an 18?
Yeah.
See, I was thinking like, see, I was thinking like 15 or 16.
Well, that's like a 4.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know that my 20 is your 20. I don't know that I balance my
This is the worst scale.
Whatever the numbers equate to make 4.5. That's where I'm going to go. What is that? Is that a 17?
Cheating.
No. This is a psycho score.
Way to wuss out there.
Okay. 17.
17.
I'll say it's 17.
Okay.
Because I feel like I have to be grateful to what Tolkien has provided us. I have to be grateful to this foundational work. But if I'm rating against other things, like Cormac McCarthy or something like that.
This book cannot stand alone.
No.
You can tell
Yeah.
that this was basically ripped out of another
Could
book.
you imagine giving this to somebody who hadn't read the other parts? Or
Yeah,
didn't know
no, I
anything
don't
to
think
it?
they could get through it.
You'd be way lost.
I don't think, yeah.
Yeah.
You can, this definitely,
Could you imagine
You know,
somebody
that
who's
was-
never watched Fellowship suddenly sitting down to watch Two Towers and not knowing all the backstory?
but see, I think that you could almost do that. Like, I think you would be lost, but I think you would be able to just ride along with, but that goes into things we've talked about before. There's differences in watching and reading. Do you know what I mean? So,
I do know your next tattoo is not going to be that line. It's going to be 2 words. Fourth Aerlingus.
he says that.
He does.
Yeah.
He says it several times.
Well,
Fourth
yeah.
Aerlingus. Yeah. And do you know,
love
after
that.
20 years of watching the movie, I never really got why they're called Aerlingus. But yeah, with Eorl being a founder for the Rohirrim. Oh, okay. Aerlings. I got it.
Yeah.
Aerlingus.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What a language dude, Tolkien.
What a nerd.
What a nerd.
You linguist
But I like
nerd.
it.
Dr. Laird thinks you're a nerd.
I don't love the songs as much as you, but
Yeah.
I like the word choices. I get it.
How much did you pay for? Do you remember how much you paid for your copy on A-Books?
Yeah, I bought each of mine separately, but they were all within the same $5 to $6 range. So this was like $5 something.
Oh, I would pay $5 for the copies.
Heck yeah.
I would pay $10 for our
Heck
copies.
yeah. For the hardback version of this, that also has like the map and stuff in the
yeah.
heck yeah.
All right. That's it for
Return of the King coming up.
Here we
It's
come.
on the horizon. Just like the end of summer break.
I was just
is
say,
on
Return of the
horizon.
King. Is that you coming back to your classroom?
I feel like there's a great unlidded eye watching me from Sparta,
Feel the dread.
asking me if I've done my bloodborne pathogens.
I haven't done that yet. Have you?
If I've watched my Jason Foundation. Here's another email about your IT stuff that you have to do.
It's Shelob.
God, that's the web. That's the web we're getting stuck in.
And now you're fired.
Come talk about data. Hey, if you're a fan of good conversations and fresh takes on literature and the kind of school stories that stick with you long after the bell rings, well, I've got a podcast for you. It's called With Honors, and it's where my high school students have taken the microphone, not just to analyze books or talk about our lessons, but to reflect on what we've learned this year, have conversations about what surprised them, how our literature and classroom experiences connect to their real lives. And we talk about everything from symbolism and Poe to the pros and cons of class pets, and all through the voices of smart, curious students who have learned to speak their minds. New episodes drop regularly every week, and every one is a snapshot of what it looks like when students take ownership of their own learning and have a little fun while they're at it. You can find With Honors on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our YouTube channel, so check them out.